Hello and welcome everybody from across the world joining us live on Facebook for our show Pulse by Healthjobhub. My name is Prashanti Naidu, founder of Healthjobhub.com. I started Pulse to connect, share, and inspire. My mission is to unveil the pulse behind the pulse. Today, I have a very special guest joining us live on Pulse. It is my honor and privilege to welcome Annliza Chetty, joining us all the way from Durban, South Africa. Greetings and good wishes, Annliza. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Hi, Prasanthi. Greetings from a sunny blue sky Durban. I'm very well, thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me to be on your show today. I'm truly honored and privileged to be your guest speaker for your season finale. So all's good here. And how are you doing, Prasanthi?
Oh, I'm very well, Annalisa, and thank you so much for asking. I'm so excited to have you, especially from Durban. And so you say it's now lovely blue skies and a beautiful
Yes,
weather. Awesome.
absolutely. Well, in Durban, I think we're just so blessed every day. Even if it's winter, we have such awesome weather.
Oh, I envy you. I know about those Durban blue skies, and I really cherish those memories being there and seeing it most of the year. To all our viewers, Pulse by Healthjobhub is a live talk show. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them on the live chat and we will answer you. If you enjoy our show, please smash the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please share with your network. I'd like to thank our sponsor, PhoneDoc. PhoneDoc is on call for your call, advising South Africans to live healthier, longer, faster, striving to be leaders in delivering quality telephone healthcare in South Africa. Please visit PhoneDoc at www.phonedoc.co.za or please email them at info@phonedoc.co.za. Annliza is a registered nurse of almost 20 years' experience with specialized critical care training and experience in cardiothoracic ICU nursing, having worked at leading hospitals in South Africa and the United Kingdom. She qualified as a registered nurse after completing 4 years of her integrated course in general nursing, community, psychiatry, midwifery at the R.K. Khan Hospital through the Natal College of Nursing and obtained her Bachelor of Science honours degree in critical care in nursing from the King's College London University, one of the top 10 UK universities in the world. As a newly qualified sister, she worked in the ICU at the St. Aidans Mission Hospital in Durban, and then went on to work at Wentworth Hospital, where she enjoyed working with patients in cardiothoracic ward and the ICU, caring for patients who had undergone cardiothoracic surgery. Following in her late mum's footsteps of nursing, Annliza pursued her dual passions of nursing and traveling as she looked at options of working in the UK. With less than 2 years of qualifying, she received her registration with the then United Kingdom Central Council for Nursing, Midwifery, and Health Visiting. She eventually lived and worked in the UK for almost 13 years, where she found her niche at the King's College Hospital, southeast of London, specializing in cardiothoracic nursing at the high care and recovery of patients post-heart and lung surgery. She became the team leader and mentor in this unit. Living in the UK was her passport to travel to different countries and broadened her sense of adventure and knowledge. After her UK experience, a brief spell in Canada, she decided to settle in South Africa with her family, returning to work in a specialized ICU for a few years, maintaining her critical care nursing skills. After having worked a few years in the ICU, she made a decision to transfer to theatre recovery unit. Some of her hobbies include blogging about life, motherhood, reading, taking part in 5 to 10K challenge runs. She loves adventures of the outdoors, cooking and baking with her young master chef son, and spending quality time with the family and playing the piano. She believes that your faith and support of your family can carry you through any situation. She is passionate about positivity and believes that the most powerful words you can tell someone is, I believe in you. Wow, Lisa, this is an incredible bio, and you inspire me so much. Your work and your life experiences are just incredible. I'm so excited to be able to share this with our viewers today. So, congratulations on all your amazing achievements through all your career.
Oh, thank you, Prasanthi. Thank you. It's definitely been a wonderful journey.
Absolutely. Please share with us your story about what inspired you to pursue a career in nursing and to become a registered nurse.
Well, Prasanthi, as a child, I actually never dreamed of becoming a nurse, a professional nurse. I had an element of a caring nature within and a keen love for animals. So, if anything, I thought I'd become a veterinarian one day. And for some reason, that never really panned out. I grew up in a family where we had many relatives who were in the health profession, doctors and nurses. My late mom was a registered nurse in community health, and my parents were great, inspiring, hardworking, and God fearing, respectable role models to us. They inspired and motivated us and encouraged us to really be the best and do our best that we can, be the best to everyone around us. My mom was permanently employed in her profession, and she balanced her work life and family life, and she always made family time a priority. And she had worked during many of our school holidays. So when the time came that she actually had time to take leave to spend with us on our school holidays, we really cherished and appreciated all those moments. And, you know, we really have some very memorable and wonderful and exciting holidays that we had spent traveling around the country through road trips. And my parents really spoiled us in that sense. I remember the times when my brothers and I got ill, and she used to monitor our fever, prepare a special meal for us, and I fondly remember all the love and care that came with it. You know, my mom was somebody who relatives would turn to and they could trust with any health concerns that they might have had. And she always made time for our extended families as well. She had an incredible way of being around and interacting with people. You know, she had a magnetic way of making people feel special and comfortable. And this was people from different ages, the young and the old. And she was just incredible with babies. Um, you know, I watched all of this growing up, and I was really mesmerized by her amazing character. And I drew strength from her loving personality and her role model that she had so beautifully emulated as a mom and also in her profession. From the times that she actually spoke of work, I could really hear her dedication and her commitment and passion in her voice when she used to talk of the children and babies that she had attended to in the clinic that day, or if she had any health concerns for them. You know, it was almost as though there was an instant association or a link of nursing and my mom's character with all the strong qualities that she embodied. I really looked up to her caring, loving, and nurturing, kind nature. My brothers and I were really blessed to have such an awesome mom who taught us such valuable lessons in life and good values. Our parents taught us to be self-sufficient, independent, and to also take responsibility for our actions and to be considerate of others growing up. So when my mom eventually passed away, naturally it was a great challenge for all of us. And my world had crumbled. I was in matric at the time. It was my last year of high school. And I really felt no inspiration to pursue any career at all. So, emotionally, it was a really draining time. Though somewhere inside of me, I really felt that my mom wanted me to be a stronger person than that. And at the time, I was really blessed to have my dad and brothers who provided the guidance and strength that I really needed at the time. My dad was truly and still is our family's amazing pillar of strength. And I had the support and guidance from him with the decision that I was about to make. So I was I was looking at my options of nursing, and I looked at all the positive, healthy aspects of it, in the sense of it being a service to others and helping others to improve their health. I also looked at it as a stable career, and also with traveling abroad. At that time, I spoke to other family members who also encouraged me and motivated me in the profession. I knew somewhere inside that I wanted to help people. I wanted to help sick people. I wanted to be a service to our community. And, I really wanted to have a positive impact and really make a difference in people's lives. And I knew that nursing was that sort of profession, a caring profession that encompassed all of that. So, really speaking, Prasanthi, my greatest inspiration with my choice of career and in the journey of my nursing profession has really always been my mom. And even though my mom never knew that I would one day qualify as a nurse, or know that I was inspired by who she was and her profession, I really hope and pray, and I'm sure that, I'm making her proud today, and that truly it's the best choice that I could have ever made. Much gratitude and thankfulness to her.
Oh my goodness, Lisa, that is such a touching tribute to your mom. And thank you so much for sharing and inspiring us with your story. I can feel the passion deep within. I think I got goosebumps listening to your story. And I'm sure you are inspiring so many other young people who might be listening to our show as well, because you definitely are an epitome of what a nurse should be. You are so caring, you're so loving, you're so genuine. I just hope that your story touches and inspires so many others as much as it's touched and inspired me. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Prasanthi. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share the story.
It is absolutely my pleasure. And your mom would be extremely proud of you, shining down from heaven, I'm sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Please share with us your journey as working as a nurse in South Africa and then traveling to the UK and working in the UK. What was that like?
Wow. Well, it has definitely been an exciting and adventurous journey, no doubt. I remember when we had just started as new nurses, students. And one of the tutors, when we had first started, had told us that by the time we complete our course and become newly qualified registered nurses, we would grow a thick skin. And I think that some took it to heart and grew it faster than others. We were told that you'll do or die and don't ask why. So these are
Oh, goodness.
some of the advice that we got from our tutors. So obviously you can see that nursing is something that prepares you to be quite strong as well.
Mhm.
I learned that nursing taught me lifelong lessons and values in life. We were exposed to the miracles of birth and to the eventuality of death, which really puts life into perspective when you think about it. And, for me, this was one of life's greatest lessons, because we often think about how we can take life for granted every day. We had some amazing tutors and awesome tutors for who I'm really thankful for. They always prepared us for the time we had to have our placements on the wards. So they'd always prepare us for the sisters or the doctors that we need to be careful of and be aware of. Saying all of that, we really had a fun time. We had started our nursing course or career when when HIV and AIDS was emerging as a major public health problem. And naturally, it was a concern for all healthcare workers with regard to safety and taking precautions, and to ensure that everyone was aware of what was going around. And this was also a time when nurses were making plans, or they were leaving in numbers to work abroad. In my nurse training, I was exposed to some strong characters. The sisters and matrons that we worked with were tough as nails, and you automatically revered respect for them when you heard them coming down the hospital corridors in those clickety clock shoes, and they were coming into your unit. So if the unit was very quiet, um, the most senior student would just all of a sudden, would all of a sudden get busy, and the senior student would start doing an in-service training with us. And so that when they walked in, they could see us busy. Um, the matrons at that time always wanted busy bee nurses. There was no time to sit and be idle. There was always cleaning, checking of equipment, and always a time for teaching. Teaching was ongoing. As a student, I learned how multidimensional nursing is, and in providing holistic care.
Mhm.
And encompassing things like ethics, patient confidentiality, having compassion, maintaining patient dignity, and being strong in the face of death, and being passionate about what you do.
Mhm.
It wasn't just a job, it was a profession.
Mhm.
And it's a profession where you have to be quick and think quick, and you have to be very observant.
Yes.
When I qualified as a registered nurse, I worked at a semi-private and government hospital setting. My role as a professional nurse had strengthened me as a person. And I often think back to what our tutor said back then about growing a thick skin, and she was quite right. Because in nursing, you're faced with strong personalities, different personalities, with doctors and different healthcare professionals, patients, relatives, colleagues. And, sadly, sometimes nurses get a bad reputation, often having to deal with challenging situations. I remember fondly the camaraderie amongst the nursing staff in the government hospital where I worked, and how happy I was to work in a hospital where they started every day with a prayer. And they worked so harmoniously, and you could really see the contentment on all the patients' faces. And that in itself is really a part of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I can really say that every day that I went into work, I was really happy. You know, I'm not sure how many people can say that, but at that time I was. Um, so, I worked with some amazing sisters who were not afraid to stand up to the doctors if they had to. In fact, there was such a great respect amongst all the healthcare professionals at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was here that I realized, working in this hospital, I realized my passion for cardiothoracic nursing,
Mm-hmm.
caring for patients who had undergone heart and lung surgery. And I had spent a few months in the ICU with ventilated patients post cardiac surgery, and followed them through with their recovery, their journey, uh, till until discharge. And it's actually around this time that I started making inquiries about going abroad to travel. So what inspired me to work abroad is that I had a friend. I have a good family friend from church, who used to snail mail, um, write to me, and encourage me to come over to the UK, telling me how great it was to work there. So there was a seminar probably around that time as well. It was all just amazing how everything happened within that space of time, because there was a UK agency that came down to Durban where they held a seminar, and I had undergone a brief interview. I had taken some documents, not really thinking much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And within those next few months, I was so busy preparing documents, police clearance, and so forth. Um, you know, and then months had passed. And one day at work, I had received a phone call to say that my registration with the UK Nursing Council had come through.
Wow.
It was so much of excitement and also mixed feelings at the same time. And I think my family was more hard hit because they hadn't realized that all of this would come to fruition so fast.
Yes.
And being the only daughter and the youngest, it was definitely a painful and long goodbye within the next month as I left home for the first time, on my own. I was blessed to have my dad's support. And I always remember him telling me, because I used to constantly ask him, even years down the line, but how could you let me go? And he used to tell me, I didn't want to hold you back from your dreams. So I was so blessed to have that support from him. Leaving to work in a country leaving to work and live in a country I'd never been to or visited before was definitely a daunting, but exciting experience for me. I remember arriving to a cold but beautiful morning in England. And later that day, I had met my friend Sandy, my snail mail friend. Um, and, ironically, it was her birthday on that day that I arrived. So I remember writing a birthday card to her in the plane on the plane, and I just thought it was so exciting that this is actually becoming a reality. Um, so 6 months had passed, 1 year, and so forth and so forth, and my family had realized that I was not returning home anytime soon. Uh, I applied for and got accepted for a post at one of London's leading hospitals in innovation and technology, King's College Hospital, which is part of the NHS Foundation Trust. It's also one of London's busiest teaching hospitals, and they have the largest liver transplant center in Europe.
Oh, wow.
And they also have one of the busiest A&E departments in the UK.
Wow.
So it was here I continued my work in a specialized cardiothoracic unit, caring for patients in the high care and recovery, post coronary artery bypass graft surgery, and thoracic surgery. So they had a fast tracking system of patients after cardiac surgery, which meant that within 3 to 4 hours, patients would be extubated, or we'd take them off the ventilator. And obviously, this was determined by certain criteria of their status and hemodynamic status. I had done a cardiac program at the time, where I rotated to the cardiology unit, the cath lab, and pre-admission clinic. And here I had a more in-depth understanding into the pathology of cardiac-related diseases. It was soon after that I was encouraged to follow the degree pathway in critical care nursing, which I eventually completed through the King's College London University. I became a team leader and mentor in my unit, and I worked with some really extraordinary, incredible, and really dedicated team of doctors, nurses, colleagues from different nationalities, many of whom had become my family away from home. I gained a wealth of knowledge and a vast experience of nursing patients from London's diverse culture and from experienced nursing colleagues. It was here that the first TAVI, or the transcatheter aortic valve implantation, was performed in the UK by a leading cardiothoracic surgeon.
Wow.
And we were involved, the nurses obviously were involved in the care of these patients in their recovery. And it was extraordinary how much faster the recovery period was. It was an exciting time to be involved in this. And obviously, patients undergoing these procedures have to meet certain criteria because it is a less invasive surgery or procedure. At this time, they were also rolling out what they call the electronic patient record system, and where nurses used computer on wheels, we used to call them the cow, to access the patient's blood results and also to enter the nursing progress of patients during the shifts, thereby trying to reduce paper. There was also a system of electronic prescription that was also put in place somewhere down the line, a few years after. And so all of this could be available electronically, and nurses could administer medication accordingly. For many years, it was definitely a privilege, and I'm truly proud to have worked at King's. Working abroad has helped me grow as a person, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Because being away from home is never easy. All in all, in my career as a nurse in South Africa and the UK, nursing, as with any other job or profession, requires you to be dedicated, hardworking, and observant. You have to be able to care about people, show compassion, and be passionate about your job. Today, nursing is probably seen as one of the most important, most secured, most demanding, and highly sought after professions in the world, especially in the light of the pandemic.
Absolutely.
It is a truly noble, rewarding, and humbling profession. And I was really blessed to have that journey as a part of my life.
Oh my
And, just await more journeys to come.
That is absolutely an incredibly fascinating story. And thank you so much for inspiring us and taking us through that deep, detailed journey about your nursing experience. And I'm certainly hoping that there's young people watching our show today, because I'm feeling so inspired by everything you've just shared. And I just wish that we could inspire more people with that amazing, recommendation. It's from the heart about your career, as well as how it impacts people, and how you are there to help people in their, I suppose, in their weakest moments. So thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing that. That was incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please tell us a little more about the wonderful travel adventures you've experienced during your career as a nurse. And would you regard your career as a passport to see the world?
Definitely. Growing up as a child, I have such fond memories of family holidays. My parents, in their younger years, loved to travel, and they did lots of traveling when we were little, and we were obviously left behind with our grandparents. As a family, we had many adventures touring our country, doing road trips, and during our school holidays. And it's something we looked forward to and really got excited about each time. So travel naturally became a passion of mine at an early age. Our parents used to always have interesting chats in the car, as we listened to the music of ABBA and Richard Clayderman. So that's on cassette. So that's taking us back to the 80s. Um, you know, they used to encourage us about life, and that there was nothing that we could not achieve in life, and that no dream was too big. When I started my career as a nurse, I remember these moments fondly and had dreams of traveling to different parts of the world. I definitely felt inspired to travel. And, just living in the UK itself was a dream for me. On my days off in London, I'd remember taking my London A to Z, which was a book of the city, maps of the city, and going to visit places in the city that I had never been to, pretending I was a tourist. Or I would take a trip out to the countryside. I have really been blessed in the countries that I've been able to visit, and with the opportunities that came my way. I've lived a dream. I have lived a dream far more than I could have ever imagined, having visited so many countries in Europe, in the US, and across to snorkeling in the awesome Great Barrier Reef of Australia,
Wow.
and making some awesome trips with my brother down to New Zealand and in Ireland, and parts of Asia. I was also very brave enough at the time to make trips by myself. Um, have a skiing trip down to up in Austria, and lots of trips that I'd done on my own, not thinking of any consequences that one would think of today.
Yes.
I guess you could say I have ticked off a lot in my bucket list, on my bucket list, that I'd never actually planned. Um, so when I was working in London, I had formed a strong bond of friendship with some amazing and incredible friends. And together we were able to explore many countries and have exciting adventures. They were always full of fun and laughter. Some of it included a trip to the Vatican City, where we watched Pope Benedict at the time address a full St. Peter's Basilica Square, and attending a friend's wedding in Greece, and also unforgettable Starbucks coffee and blueberry cheesecake dates with my dear friends and movie buffs, Teresa and Jocelyn.
Mhm.
A highlight of my adventure, one of my greatest highlights, has to be the day my friend and I, a friend of mine and I, had booked to go to the Palladium Theatre in London to watch Richard Clayderman perform on his Valentine tour in 2000.
Wow.
So I naturally grew up inspired by his music and had a great admiration for his talent. After the show, I was determined to meet him. So I convinced my friend Nish that we go around the stage door just to check if we can get a glimpse of him. So when we got there, to my delight, he was greeting fans, and I managed to get a keepsake photo that I
Oh,
keep on my camera today. That really made my stay in the UK at that time. And as if that wasn't enough, um, my brother had informed me that he was playing a few years down the line, playing in Dublin. So when I went to visit my family in Dublin a few years, when he had booked the ticket, and I was walking around the area and near the theater, and I was fortunate enough to bump into him again. And that was just an awesome moment. And, I reminded him of the time that I met him in London. Naturally, he was not going to remember me. But I was just so, if anyone has an inspiration or admiration in that sense, they would really understand where I'm coming from. Because this was my childhood inspiration, and it has been an amazing and memorable experience for me. So, all in all, these travels have made for some incredible memories and really made my dreams come true. So yes, the world is definitely one's oyster being a nurse and a gateway to the rest of the world. So it's been a great adventure.
oh my goodness, Lisa, that is an incredible adventure and journey that you've shared with us. I can vividly imagine and remember some of those great moments myself. Thank you for sharing that. Like, being a nurse is not just a profession, it is a calling, like one of our viewers have said on the chat messages. And the experience that goes along with it is so much greater than just a job. And you've been able to articulate that so beautifully on the show so far. We're going to go and take some viewer questions and comments right now. So I have a viewer, Lalita Naidu. She says, being a very seasoned and experienced senior sister, what would be your special advice to our young and aspiring nurses, and to members of your community in general, to deal with the ups and downs in these difficult COVID times? We are certainly fortunate. So they would like to know, what are your advice to deal with the ups and downs?
Okay, so advice to young and aspiring nurses. Well, I think that as a viewer said, it's a calling for sure. And if you feel that you have a passion about people, you're able to communicate it and able to communicate with people. Nursing entails being quite strong minded as well, in the sense of you have, when you're faced with people, you have to know how to deal with challenges. So if it's something that that you can give your 100% going into work every day, and getting up with really an energy that excites you about going to work, and knowing that you're going to give your 100%, just like with any other job, then I would say go for it. If you feel you can make an impact on somebody's life, and you can be of service to your community, then nursing is something that you could look at. And with regards to the COVID-19, I think that we need to be positive, especially with children. We need to make sure that we educate them with what's going on. And right now, some of our schools, grades are planning to reopen. So it's an anxious time for parents, for educators, pupils themselves, and we just need to make sure that they are on the right track. We need to educate them with regard to all the safety measures that need to be taken, that need to be put in place and that they need to follow. We also don't want to create a fear in children. We need, if they feel relaxed, and if parents can make them feel comfortable with what they need to do, then I think we are on the right track.
Absolutely. No, thank you, Lisa. We have another viewer question, and this is from Chris Bassetti. Thank you for an awesome show and an amazing guest. I would like to know what characteristics does one need to have to become a nurse?
Like I mentioned in the previous question, I think, it's all about dedication, being compassionate, giving your 100%, and understanding that each individual is unique. So when you're nursing patients, we have to understand that people are coming from different backgrounds. We need to acknowledge and respect that, have respect for all individuals. And there are many situations that you have to deal with as a nurse. And like I mentioned, you are faced with amazing aspects of life, like the miracles of birth and the eventualities of death. So it really requires you to be strong, to be able to embrace those moments and embrace challenging moments. You have your personality should really be, well, it depends on your personality. If you are a kind of a, if you're not really strong towards situations where some people cannot stand blood. So obviously this is something you're not going to look at, because nursing is all of that, right? In that sense, where you going to have to be facing a situation where you're either taking, putting up bloods for a patient or dealing with all of that. So I think, the characteristics of dedication, compassion, being passionate, respectful, and also knowing that you have to provide dignity for all patients. It's important. It's all encompassing, and you're providing holistic care. So it's not just in a sense where you're just providing basic care to a patient. It's also psychological, and you're also, when it comes to nursing the patients, you are also having to not deal with, but you have relatives who you have to be able to communicate with, you have to be understanding of everyone's background and situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. With regards to another viewer question, what words of wisdom do you have for the upcoming nurses and for all the nurses, especially during COVID, to keep going and give off their best?
Well, I want to say well done and hats off to all our frontline staff. I think everyone is doing an incredible job. And especially families for being so understanding when their relatives go out to the hospitals. It's definitely not an easy situation, but like I said, nurses have an inbuilt strength, probably, that if they're faced with situations, they know how to deal with challenges. And I think the greatest concern right now for nurses is, obviously, when they're faced with COVID patients, the greatest concern would be the fact that they have adequate supply of the personal protective equipment. So I think in knowing that they have this, it's definitely a safety measure for them. So I would, I would just say, well done to all of them, and keep going and stay strong, stay safe, be wise, and encourage one another, and make sure that you're always working safe.
Great words of wisdom and advice. Thank you, Lisa. We have another viewer question from Chris Bassetti. All the places you have visited, where would you like to work and live, and why?
Well, I think, I'm happy being home, for sure. Right now, the possibility of or chance of going anywhere in the world right now is a bit bleak, in our current situation. So I love Durban. I love South Africa, and for now, I am quite content living and working in South Africa.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Lisa. Another viewer question. You are quite an inspiration. How do you psych yourself up to go to work every day, especially during COVID? How do you create your work-life balance?
Thank you for the question. And thank you for your words, your kind words. You know, I actually am I'm a morning person. So I'm excited about my day when I get up in the morning, and just even watching the sunrise while I'm busy getting ready or having my cereal in the morning. Um, I think, I have a very supportive husband, so I'm very fortunate in the sense of maintaining a well balanced life in the sense of our son as well. So it's important to have a balanced work life and family life. And for these reasons, I actually changed my working hours and my job from the ICU to theater recovery, because it enabled me to spend more time with my family. And I have a 6.5-year-old, Noah, who I love spending time with, and I don't want to miss out on his growing up. So it was important. It was a big decision for me, and it was an important decision because I really needed to find that balance. And I just have a wonderful feel for life, if you could say, starting the day off and just thanking God when my eyes open in the morning, just to say thank you for another day, another life. And that really gets me going and starts my day, because I know that whatever challenges I'm about to face, I'm going to be able to handle it. And I think that's why I can stay positive during my day. So no matter what comes my way, no matter who says what at work or wherever, I'm able to deal with it, or handle it in the best way that I can. And I think it's also important because, having a child, you want to be a great role model. You want them to have a positive outlook on life as well. So I hope I'm doing my best and trying my best, but that's what works for me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And from everything you've shared with us, I don't have a doubt in my mind that you are doing your very best, and you are a fantastic role model to Noah and to all of us actually who are listening to your story, and just in your daily life, the way you conduct yourself. As you say, you always pray in the morning, and you are able to brace any challenge that comes to you. So you've really been able to live that incredible life and to inspire us with your actions. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. We have another viewer question. Is it easy to work with patients in this period of COVID-19?
Well, yes. When I was overseas, when I was in London, we had swine flu. And so I was exposed to obviously nursing a patient, and but we had our proper PPEs. So, like I said, if we have our proper PPEs, and adequate supply, there's no fear, and you're dealing with a patient who is obviously afraid, who is going through a fearful time themselves. And we as nursing professionals need to be that support to them. And we need to provide, we need to be, have our, need to give our proper and adequate 100% to them as well, because they are there for our care. And we have to be prepared. And there's also a saying that there's no emergency in a pandemic. So we have to look after ourselves first to be able to care for patients who have COVID.
Absolutely. I've never heard that saying before, but I love that. There's no emergency in a pandemic. And that's actually wonderful advice that you really need as a healthcare professional to look after yourself as well, because otherwise you're going to be no use to that patient who really needs you as well. So great advice. Thank you so much to all our viewers as well for asking these amazing questions. We really love that interaction. In creating Pulse, one of our goals is to have our finger on the pulse. So how has your community in Durban and South Africa been impacted by COVID-19? And please share your experience working during the pandemic.
Well, today is actually day 65.
Oh,
It's
wow.
the second month of lockdown, and it's been a month since stage 4 was implemented in April. Presently, the numbers of infection in our country is almost, I think, about 310,000, with over 16,000 recoveries, and the number of deaths just about under 650. And the highest incidence of infection has in the country is the Western Cape province, with over 20,000. That's just a few statistics to share with you.
Thank you.
So the 23rd of March signifies a historic time for all of us South Africans. And for me especially, was definitely a memorable one. As I look back, it was the day I had just cut my birthday cake and about to have a slice of the cake, when the president announced on breaking news of the imminent lockdown of our country to be implemented on the 27th of March this year. So it's been over 2 months, and there has definitely been an increased awareness in public. There has been a great impact for sure in the communities. But we have been really fortunate that we have not had devastating numbers like Spain, Italy, and the US. And I think all of this is really due to the prompt decision of the president to implement the lockdown early enough to help delay the spread of the virus. Prasanthi, we obviously, we have many rural areas, communities that are very unfortunate. And so at the onset of lockdown, initially, it was very difficult and challenging with different parts of these communities and rural areas who struggled to maintain precautions naturally. And, these are people who already have daily struggles and challenges with access to clean running water, overcrowding in their homes, and financial concerns, as they depend on various types of work for their daily income. But, obviously things have changed as the stages Well, tomorrow we are going into a stage 3 of the lockdown, as the president announced a few days ago. So tomorrow, the 1st of June, we are moving to a stage 3, which allows most of the economy to reopen. So some places of worship will reopen, and so will the grades 7 and 12. And you know, all of this naturally comes from the advice and guidance of health authorities. There is a major concern of the impact that it will have on teachers, the parents, and pupils as schools reopen during the start of winter and a flu season. Obviously, they would have ensured that they have adequate provision and hygiene facilities in place, and provisions of soap and water and towels, paper towels, and adequate spacing in classrooms according to government requirement of 1.5 meters to maintain social distancing. And it is obviously it's mandatory that everyone should be wearing a well-fitted fabric mask. There is about 8 million people expected to return to work as unessential services will resume as well. So it's definitely a stressful time for everybody as we move forward to some sort of normality. And numbers are expected to peak around the months of July and August, as predicted by health experts. We will probably never know normal again for a long while, sadly. It's obviously been a lesson to all of us as well. Another highlight of the stage will be the reopening of the liquor stores to many. All you avid drinkers out there who have behaved so well and been so patient at this time, please be cautious, be safe with your drinking, and don't forget to remove your mask when you consume that long-awaited sip of wine. Don't worry, there'll be enough alcohol for everybody. Insofar as work, Prasanthi, at the onset of the lockdown, there has definitely been a slower pace and stream of patients in some hospitals. Obviously, precautions have been put in place in all healthcare facilities. And there's obviously a fear in the public, and probably one of the reasons why patients are staying away from hospitals. I think as the lockdown is lifted in its stages, this will definitely change. The main concern for all healthcare workers is probably the reassurance that there is adequate supply of PPEs. And all staff and public are screened as they enter healthcare facilities. And they have, screening is done by asking questions if they have any symptoms. They have their temperature taken, and the details are taken down and recorded for tracing purposes. And it is essential for everyone, as I said before, to be wearing a mask. So it's really much about common sense and just every individual taking the necessary precaution that they have to. Like I said, it's been ongoing lessons for all of us. And we can really make it safer for each other by just practicing what is out there and what we need to do.
100%, 100%. Thank you so much. And please also share with us, what nursing advice do you have for all our viewers to help keep safe and healthy during this COVID-19 pandemic period, but also in preparation for opening up? As you say, 8 million people are going to be allowed to continue to be active in the communities. What advice can you share?
Well, we've been drilled with so much of advice and health education on different media. So I'm just going to reinforce what should already be known and what's already known. What's important is to understand how the virus is spread. and that's through respiratory droplets that's produced when coughing and sneezing, and which can be inhaled from person to person. So thank you for putting the screen up, Prasanthi. So it's just a simple diagram taken from the World Health Organization that is just using common sense. When you're coughing or sneezing, do so, use a tissue if you have a tissue available. And if you use a tissue, make sure to dispose of it in a waste bin and wash your hands after that. Or if you don't have a tissue, cough or sneeze into your bent elbow, not your hands.
So
Wearing,
type of thing.
yes, like that.
Yes.
So wearing a cloth mask is important as you are protecting others. As some people may be asymptomatic, or they might, as in not having the symptoms, or they might not know that they have the virus. So it is mandatory for everyone to use a mask. Avoid touching men. And this is something that I saw somewhere. So it's your mouth, your eyes, and your nose. And ensure, so ensure you disinfect commonly used surfaces. And when you're out grocery shopping as well, ensure that you're practicing hand hygiene. And hand hygiene is vital. So washing your hands with good old soap and water for 20 seconds, and just making sure you cover all the surfaces of your hands. Ensure that you educate your children to do the same, because they will be going back to school, and they need to remember to wash their hands after they eat, after they're touching surfaces, after they have their play break or snack breaks. So that's something that we need to ensure they are prepared for. And they encourage them to sing the happy birthday song, which will take them through the 20 seconds. Children also need a lot of psychological support, and parents need to ensure that they're on the same page with their child, or the child is on the same page with them, in the sense of understanding how much they know, or assessing how much they understand of the virus. So it's important to spend time with them, obviously not overwhelming them, but spending adequate time to ensure that their child is aware of what is going on. And if they are a younger age, like 3 or 4, you can show them. They've got some lovely videos for kids on the internet at the moment, to show to kids to understand more about this virus. There's nothing stopping us from educating our children from a really young age, because sometimes we don't realize how much more they understand. We really underestimate them. Avoid close contact with somebody who is sick, and if you know someone who is sick, they need to ensure that they take proper measures to either phone their GP if they feel that they have the COVID symptoms, and avoid crowded areas as well. Try to maintain a well-balanced diet of protein, fruits, and vegetables, and also include some exercise as part of your daily routine. As this virus is going to be around for a long time, we just need to ensure that we are smart and wise, and hopefully that they will develop a vaccine with all the technology that they have and all the experts. We pray that this is something that they predict is going to be for the next year or so. So it's a new way of living with our mask, and we just have to be sensible.
Absolutely, and very, very well said. Thank you so much for that awesome advice, Lisa. In fact, as I listened to you today on today's show, and you were so articulate in explaining all aspects of your career as a nurse and also the medical advice, I can't help but to wonder, when are you going to be publishing your book? Now, I know that you are an aspiring writer. I know that you are an active blogger, and I would love for you to share a little bit more about that with us and our viewers. And I really do want to know, when is that book going to be launched?
Okay, so writing has always been a passion of mine. I think ever since I was a child growing up, and I loved reading. I think I read all those Nancy Drew series, um, and when we went for our family holidays, when we went on road trips, I used to journal some of those holidays. And I used to think to myself, wow, with reading so many books as well, I wish I could write my own story. So it actually took me a long while to kind of get to the point where I thought maybe I can. Um, so in London, I used to journal a lot, and that was something that I was passionate about. And oddly enough, somehow I found inspiration sitting at a Starbucks cafe, journaling all my thoughts and journaling what I had seen. So I have lots of memories to look back to. And sometimes, if I actually feel a bit demotivated, I actually go back to those journals to get some inspiration that had me going at that time. So when I was I was passionate about writing, and my friend Jocelyn, who's from the Philippines, who I worked with in London, actually inspired me to start a blog. And she said, "Did you ever consider blogging?" And I'm like, "I didn't. What's blogging?" And so she told me about it, and on I had sleepless nights because here I was busy working on my site. Um, and it was most exciting because this was my site where I could write my stories for viewers to see. I wanted to make a positive impact for people, and I wanted to have something exciting, something different, something light to share with everybody. Um, so so my blog site is called On My Adventures Through Life, and I eventually started it back in, I think it's 2009. And I every day I used to try and do some exciting stories and features about something that either I experienced or a thought that I had, and also what inspired me in life. And when we left for Canada, I was newly married, and I was expecting Noah. um, I said, oh, I really have to do something different. So I started a blog on motherhood. Um, and just wrote about some of my experiences. Um, you know, Naturally, over the years, I've not had time to stay dedicated to it because of time. Um, but it has been most exciting. And also, back in the probably 2000, well, about 10 years ago or so, I had an inspiration to start a book. And I don't know how near it is to completion, but the story's still going. it, uh, it's a fictional story. So it's based on love, friendship, and I think it also includes some of the presidency election at the time with Barack Obama. So I have some exciting thoughts about it, and I just remember that when the thoughts came to my mind, I just get up in the middle of the night just to start writing my ideas. So I don't know when all of this is actually going to be published. I really hope that I have the inspiration to keep me going to get it sooner than I actually think. So my blogs are really there to inspire people. whoever reads it, it's my way of trying to make a difference, trying to make a change. Because I think it's so important today to inspire others and to help each other grow. So that's hopefully you will hear more of it soon.
That is awesome. And if anybody wanted to actually read your blogs, how do they find you online?
So the one is aschetty.blogspot.com, and the other is maternaltimes.blogspot.com.
Awesome. And what we could do is, Lisa, after the show, we can actually, if you don't mind, adding your Blogspot URLs to the chat message of the show. So if anybody wanted to click in, they could simply just click in and to read your stuff. I find it extremely fascinating. And remember, the book is going on for 10 years now. You're writing it. We are waiting for volumes. We're looking for volume 1, volume 2. So you don't have to wait until it's completed. Keep us in suspense. Release volume 1, and then we'll be waiting to see what happens in volume 2. So this is my challenge to you. I'm waiting to see it, and I can't wait to read it. You are such an articulate speaker. I can only imagine what an incredible writer you are going to be as well. So just do it.
Well, I think I'll send you an excerpt from it. And
that is wonderful.
See what you think.
I am looking forward to it. Please do. Please do. Please share some final thoughts, Lisa. It's been an incredible show so far. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to leave our viewers with?
Well, in my blog, a part about me, I do say that I believe that the most powerful words you can tell somebody is, I believe in you. And, I say it's powerful because in today's society, there's so much of negativity, and we really need to inspire people. We really need to uplift and empower people. And, each of us has the ability, if we have the capability of doing that. Maya Angelou, the American poet, had said that I learned that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will not forget how you made them feel. And I think that is so important because living in the UK, like I said, it wasn't easy in the sense of emotionally. And as I embarked on my studies, my family gave me that sense that they believed in me, and they told me so. And at times when I think I didn't believe in myself, and just by telling anybody that you believe in them, in that they can do what they set out to do, I think it's a huge, great positivity in their life. So, we all can make a change. It's the little random acts of human kindness wherever we go, whatever we do. And now, because everyone's wearing a mask, it's so difficult to see expressions behind people. There's obviously fear, anxiety that you cannot see on anybody's face. I have a habit sometimes when I'm in the store. Well, maybe this is before COVID, and in a clothing shop, and if someone would look at a dress or shoe or some, obviously a female, I would say, wow, that color looks really great on you. And I think it's little things like that we can say, or even the cashier or at the till at the store, and just to say, hi, how is your day going? We all have that ability to make a difference in the world. And finally, I would like to say thank you to you, Prasanthi, and to Healthjobhub on a great season. And I want to wish you well for your next season. And I have to say a cheers to you for a great season.
Thank you, Lisa. Cheers.
Thank you for having me as your guest speaker on your season finale, and I wish you great success with Pulse and Healthjobhub. Thank you again for having me on your show.
Oh my goodness, Lisa, thank you so much. And thank you for those kind words about Healthjobhub, and thank you for those kind words about Pulse. It truly means a lot. And it's been a whole lot of fun, I have to say. But I really, really enjoyed having you as a special guest on our season finale. You really brought to life exactly why we started the show in the first place. It is a platform to inspire people. And I feel so inspired by listening to your story. And I hope that the viewers who are tuning in are going to feel the same way and share your story with their networks as well. Because I think that, especially nurses, as you rightly pointed out, you are one of the, pillars of our, of our communities, of our societies, of our world. Like, you are really there to help when it's critical, when the need is so it's like today, when we are living in the pandemic. I don't know how to explain it, but nurses are the backbones of our society, and I don't think they are celebrated enough. And I thank you for sharing your story, and bringing to life and bringing to light everything that you go through in your career, and inspiring others to follow suit as well. So thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing. I really, really appreciate that. And it's been a brilliant show. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasanthi. Thank you to all your viewers as well. I thank you for all the questions, and I hope I've answered them well.
Absolutely. I think you did. And it doesn't end here. So if there's any questions that the viewers would like to continue asking, please feel free to use the chat. This show is going to be now published on all our social media platforms. So if there's anybody who's watching the show after the fact, please continue to ask your questions. We will get back to you, and we will be able to reply. And yes, it's been an awesome 13 weeks. Thank you, Lisa, for enlightening us today and sharing your incredible story on Pulse by Healthjobhub. This brings us to a close of our season finale. I do hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Please stay tuned for on our Facebook page for launch dates of our season 2. And special thanks to all you amazing viewers. You have really made the show what it is today. Thank you for all our followers on Facebook. We started off with 0 followers, and right now on our Pulse by Healthjobhub page, we are over 2,000 followers. We are over 2,000 followers on Healthjobhub page on Facebook. And it's all, each and every one of you, for tuning in and listening to our story and inspiring us as much as we inspire you. So thank you so much to all our viewers. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for watching us. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the show, please smash the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please share with your network. Thank you, stay safe, and God bless everybody. Thank you.